What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 4 of Plebe Pro. In episode 4, I'm going to be talking about the central processing unit. This is going to be a multi-part video because the central processing unit is a very complex unit and I don't want to have a 30-minute video. A little bit of housekeeping again. Sorry about the background noise, still playing with this thing, working out a few settings on it. I think I know what I need to do. You'll find out when you watch the video. Also, I partnered with a channel called the Amphigory Effect. I've actually been helping those guys out for probably about 6 months, on and off. Mostly on the back side of the camera. Just kind of wanted to let you guys know it's actually a pretty good channel, and I will have it linked in the description below. So, on to the actual video. In front of me, these two processors. This is a Q9650, so it's a Core 2 quad. I believe this is 3 gigahertz. Yeah, this is their 3 gigahertz. It's the second from the top of the line for the LGA 775, which is, yes, about 10-year-old socket, but it's still a good socket. This is the Q9100. This is a Core 2 quad as well, so it's a 4-core processor. It is only clocked at 2.26 gigahertz, but it's designed for mobile, so laptops. And part of the reason why I want to have these CPUs multiple videos is we've got core count, clock speed, cache, and bus. Those are the 4 major issues, as well as TDP. So 5. And trying to put all those in one video is going to be a very long video. So with that being said, when I said these are quad-core processors, this is kind of a good example. So this is how Intel used to do it, and I believe AMD used to do it as well. The 2 silver things are called dies. And in this particular case, each die is actually a Core 2 duo. Not sure exactly which Core 2 it would be. Just there's a lot of chips, and I can't remember every single one. But it was kind of a stopgap measure to get a quad-core chip out to compete. And if I were to delid this, so take this copper or nickel-plated copper piece off, we'd probably see the same thing. The reason why more cores are frequently considered better is a single core processor like an old Pentium 4. Well, yes, it had a higher clock speed at, I think it maxed out at 3.4 gigahertz. It was capable of doing 1 execution in 1 clock cycle. So we needed that higher speed to compete. This 2.25 gigahertz processor would have actually been able to do a lot more work than even a higher clock dual core, because it can do 4 tasks in 1 clock cycle. A dual core can only do 2 tasks in 1 clock cycle. So more cores, more can do in a clock cycle. Also, more heat it generates, more power it uses. So frequently, more cores do not always get you more clock speed, and that's something that you have to consider when you're speccing a computer. Is most of what I do what's called single-threaded, so a single thing, which is becoming very hard to think of applications for it. Just about everything has gone multi-threaded. But there are certain things that, especially older software, they're not multi-threaded, so they cannot take advantage of multi-core optimizations, so they can't spread their load across multiple cores. In those kind of situations, a faster clock speed on a lower core count is better. Intel and AMD have both gotten smart in the last couple of years, and what they enable is, Intel calls it hyper-threading. I apologize, but I don't know what AMD calls it. Or sorry, not hyper-threading, turbo boost. Turbo boost in Intel and AMD's equivalent allow the processor to dynamically overclock, so it can change its clock speed. In the case of this Q9650, normal clock is 3 gigahertz. If it was turbo boost enabled, then in certain situations where it's only using 1 thread, it could actually increase that clock speed to theoretically 3.3, 3.6 gigahertz. So its single core performance would increase drastically. But when it had to go to multi-core, it would not generate 5 times the heat or whatever the issue or the increase would be, enabling it to still run at a reasonable temperature and a reasonable amount of power. So that's kind of where multi-core comes from. That's why it's good. And just about everything in the modern world is multi-core compatible. So even your internet browser can benefit from having more cores. I guess I'll go over TDP as well. So TDP, or thermal design power, AMD has an equivalent term. Again, I don't really run AMD. I have some personal hangups on AMD that I don't want to use, or that make it so I don't want to use them. But they have an equivalent. It's whatever the wattage rating is on a CPU. So in this case, the Q9650 is rated at 95 TDP. So 95 watts TDP, or it is designed to put out 95 watts of heat. So at full load, it should put out at most 95 watts, which need to be exhausted by the CPU cooler. Yes, I have a few laying next to me. So this thing is designed and intended to put out, or to dissipate a certain amount of heat. This one in particular does not have the copper core, so it is probably only about a 65 TDP. It's actually from an i3-2100, which is a dual core processor. It's a pretty low end processor for 6 or 7 years ago from time of filming. So it's just not designed to export the same amount of heat. A Core 2 quad. I'll have to mute that. A Core 2 quad cooler is a lot thicker. A lot thicker. Now, you don't need to be able to see that all that well. Just the fact that the Core 2 quad is almost twice as thick as the i3-2100. So that's TDP and core count. I think I've covered just about everything I need to there, and I don't want to go into cache, bus frequency, or any of the other stuff right now because I'm reaching that point in the video where it's starting to get a little long. So I'll go ahead and cut here. If you guys enjoy what you're seeing, if you want to know more, like and subscribe. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comment section below. I'm usually very quick at responding within a few hours because work and sleep. If you have any ideas on where to go forward from here, please let me know. Again, kind of announced that I have the next 2 or 3 videos figured out, but beyond there, I could always use some direction from you guys. So I'll see you in the next one.